church, okay? What that means basically is we have a security company set up with the state of Tennessee through the church. What that does, if we dot our I's and cross our T's, then that helps cover you in liability in case something happens, and it helps cover the church in liability, okay? So some of the things that's going to get introduced to you tonight is because of that, okay? So when if you don't like it, come talk to me privately. We'll talk about it. But we have to do certain things in order to keep that legit and for our insurance, frankly, to cover us. Okay. So in your folder, there's a document. In your folder is a document that I've got that I've come up with, and it's based off of the criteria that we need to stick to for the Protective Service Corporation, okay? In order to cover the church, in order to cover you, and in order to cover, God's kingdom, everything we're doing here. So on that, there's the paper in your folder talks about the qualifications and requirements as a officer underneath the Avenue Protective Detail. Okay. There's two levels. There's a level 1 operator. There's a level 2 operator. Okay. Level 1 operator is restricted from using firearms. So this is something new that we've been talking about for about a year. If you've been in our meetings past, we've been working on trying to get it to where we would have to qualify as a security operator to carry a firearm on duty when you serve. Okay. So level 1 operator would be someone that's not an armed guard license, someone that hasn't been through our training and has not been through our basic handgun course and qualified with a weapon through that course. Okay. So this is what we're working up to. A level 2 operator. A level 1 operator we have our life group set up, getting ready to start actually Sunday. So I encourage everyone to come, whether you want to be a level 1 operator right now or if you want to be a level 2. If you're on the medical team, I encourage you to come anyways, because we're going to be doing medic training. We're going to be doing first aid training. We're going to be doing tourniquets. We're going to do bleed out training. We've got mannequins that we'll be doing these drills with throughout the classes. We've got tourniquets. We're going to be doing all this different training. Also, you'll have the opportunity to get hand-to-hand combat training, sharp edge weapon training, firearm training, and so on. So this is open to everybody. Now, to put this in perspective, in order to go get this class at a teaching facility, it costs you about $50 an hour. Okay? The classes here are 2.5 hours that we'll be doing on Sunday evenings. Approximately 2.5 to 3 hours. We're going to do it after the last service on Sundays. So if we have a 1 o'clock service, it'll start at 3:30. If we have a 11 o'clock service as our last service, it'll start earlier. Okay. Some of that will be on the range. Most of it will be here at the church. If we go do exercises on the range, it'll most likely be at Brian Massey's house. We've been working and built a range for this security team. Okay, if you didn't know about that. Pretty nice setup. We got plenty of parking down there. We're working on a bridge. We've got a little creek crossing we got to worry about right now, but a 4-wheel drive can get down there. So we're working through all that. We're trying to do a lot of things to really, one, help you guys in your day-to-day life. Everybody knows things is crazy out there in the world right now, and you don't know what you're going to come up against tomorrow or on your way home tonight. So all this training is for you and for your family to help protect them. Most importantly, it's for you and help protect the church here. Okay. So like I said, these classes are about $50 an hour. If you go to a private training facility and have them do these classes, it's at least $50 an hour. Some of them's more than that. So a 2.5 hour class. figure it up. It's, you know, it's $125 of training that we've got set in place for you guys. It's not costing you anything. We're asking that you give a love offering to the guys coming and doing the classes. He's not asking for anything. He's coming and do it out of his own time. He's comes highly credentialed. He's been doing this for years. He's trained with Secret Service. He's trained with military. He's trained with security. He's done a lot. I've got actually papers up here of his bio that shows some of his letters of recommendations from Tennessee, State Tennessee Bank, different organizations, and different places he's worked with, okay? So it's a really good opportunity is what I'm trying to say, okay? So these classes that we have laid out on this document, there's 9 weeks of classes. These classes will be twice a month on the second and fourth Sunday, and they'll run through the whole life group semester. So this is our security life group, okay? Tim's also going to do a life group on Thursdays. That'll be more specific to policies and procedures, and it'll be more specific to certain medical training for the medical team or medical position on our team, okay? And among other things that we'll do in there, okay?
That's the third Thursday of every month.
Third Thursday, so it's once a month, okay? Third Thursday of the month. And that'll also be here probably 90% of the time as well. Now,
So is that one also for a security team or for? the-
it's both.
So we're.
They're both open to
We do
both
both?
medical and security. Safety and security is one team now. So we have to reprogram our minds as we had a MERT team, we had a security team. It's now safety and security. It's now one team. As a level 1 operator, if you're if you serve in the medical position, then it's not mandatory that you come to these classes, okay? If you want to be a level 2, if you want to carry a weapon, then it is mandatory that you come to the classes, okay? Mandatory that you go through the basic handgun course, which we'll talk a little more about here in a minute. We are given some grace on attendance. We're doing an 80% attendance rate. So basically you've got 2 strikes and you fall back to a level 1 operator, okay? So if you miss 2 classes, if you miss the 3rd class, you fall back to a level 1 operator until you can make that class up. Now, one thing we're doing, Rodney's going to work with us and we're going to try to record these classes. We're going to try to record them here. We're working on getting a CBT set up on a computer where you can go in, watch the videos, watch the classes, answer some questions, and then it'll record that you've done that, okay? That's a work in progress. It's not a replacement of being here, because who's been to some of the classes with Winchester? All right. Would it replace being here
Not
in
even
person?
close.
Not even close.
Not even close. So we're really pushing you guys to take it to the next level here, okay? I know it's asking a lot, but there's lives on the line. We're here to protect people. We're here to protect the pastors and protect the flock. So it's a really critical position, and in today's time, it's even more critical. We don't know what's going to be at our front door on Sunday. So we're really trying to step up the game on this. If you take the worship team, for example, they're here every Wednesday night. Close to 3 hours every Wednesday night, practicing, setting up the set for the next Sunday. The media and sound and audio and video, they're here once a week. We're asking for 2 days a month, okay? 4 hours a month is what we're asking for. If you want to be that level 2 operator, if you say that's too much, I can't do it, my work schedule won't allow it, you know, that's fine. We still have a place for you to serve. And we want you to serve as a level 1 operator. But you're not covered under the security detail to carry a weapon and use that weapon on site in case something happens. you're basically acting as a CCW on your own at that point, okay? If you was. Basically, it relieves the church of any liability is what we're trying to do, if you're not a trained operator, okay? So that's, I'll just show you this. This is the certificate from the state that shows that we are a security organization set up and registered through the state. This is going on the wall back in the hallway. We've got the new policies that I gave you tonight are going to laminate it and be in there for your reference, or for people that's not here tonight, okay? It's another reason why we're recording tonight, so they can watch it later, they can get caught up and know what's going on, okay? Let's see. I don't remember what else I got. Everybody get their food that needed to get food? All right. I have, in case you're wondering about it, this is some of the training program. These are slides that, 310 pages of slides that I've went through and looked at. This is some of the program, not all of it, but this is just some of the program that we'll be going through. And we probably won't go through everything in here, but this is what we're working through. So you can look at that tonight. We was going to try to put it on the screen and let it be scrolling, but we couldn't get the computer to work. This is Winchester, some of his credentials, if you want to look at that. If you're not familiar with who he is or what he trains or his recommendations, you can look at that. So if anybody wants to look at that, it'll be up here. I think that about does it for now. I'm going to turn it over to Pastor Tim Teague. And Tim's going to come up and share his heart with you about some things. And then I think Melissa's going to try to make it in time. She has something she wants to share with you guys after Tim. Welcome, Tim Teague.
Thank you, brother. You Tim.
Thank you, sir. Heavy on the sir. Hey, this is, let me just share right out of the gate. This is, in my opinion, I've pastored for 42 years. This right here, I probably might have gone 2 years without a security team. We were from the suburbs of Detroit and wound up in the farm fields of Ohio, Lancaster, Ohio, but we still, when I left, we had 45 guys on our security team. It was mandatory to meet twice every month for training. They were given zero times of absence. And the reason is because this is probably, outside of the pulpit, one of the most critical teams that a church can have. I'm pro-security and I'm pro-armed security in the church. Always have been and always will. We had, again, about 45 guys on the team. They have gone through any kind of training you can imagine, and they will go through it again and again and again and again and again, because repetitious training is priceless in my book. So you're important, and the reason you're here tonight is that it is important. Before we do anything, I want to say hats off to your fearless leader, and Pastor Messer. Can you let him know how much we appreciate him? How many are in management? Anybody here in management, or you've been in management? How many own your own company or have owned your own company? Do you know the importance of this phrase? Be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to be doing, and everything works out fine. But if you have someone that's supposed to be at the front door and they're not at the front door, something can go drastically wrong. If you have somebody that's supposed to be at the back door, if you have somebody that's supposed to be watching the parking lot, and it could go on and on. A missing security team member could be fatal. You think, well, that's just crazy. The percentage of that happening across the nation is rare. We were in Lancaster, Ohio, it's a cornfield just outside of Columbus. We had multiple events of security issues, from divorce issues. We had a guy get a long rifle out of his trunk and head into the sanctuary. We caught him at the door. Security team caught him. The parking lot security team caught him. 78% of church security is stopped in the parking lot
And it should be.
when you have people that are trained to know what to look for. Think about that. Everybody wants to be inside. Everybody wants one of these on their hip. You know, I'm security. Doggone it, they're not getting my pastor. You might be one of the first ones taken if you've got that Superman attitude. 78% of church security events are stopped in the parking lot. So if you're assigned to the parking lot, that's not a lowball statement that says you're not important. It's not something that says, you know, we're putting you out there because you won't keep your mouth shut. That says we're putting you out there probably because we need somebody out there, as much as we do at the front door or watching the pulpit or whatever. Church security is extremely important. And all that he's doing, all that the pastor's doing here to bring this team under these guidelines, about 85% of that is, I know it wasn't our book, and I'm sure it is here, in the state of Ohio, we were mandated both by the state and by our insurance companies to do a lot of what we were doing. In order for us to carry an insurance policy on our men and on our teams, we had to do the training we were doing. And that's why it was mandatory that you were there for the training. So I just want to say, this is important. The team goes to a great extent to provide what they're providing for you in their leadership, in their training. Jason puts in a lot of time. And the guys that work with him, Tim and Brian and some of the others, put in a lot of volunteer time. The insurance requirements, it takes a lot of time just to stay on top of that, trust me. I had a state trooper, a sergeant state trooper that was doing ours, and finally had to get help to do it because it was just too much on him. He was full-time police officer. The training, the scheduling, the campus presence, what does that mean? It's important to have somebody watching campus presence, because when you call in at 10 minutes to 10 and say, I can't be there, guess what? They're scrambling to find somebody to put in your place. And you say, well, that shouldn't happen. Well, it does. It does. That's probably why you're not in a leadership position. We got, folks, I'm a former pastor. I have nothing to lose. I've already lost it, so you can't take anything from me. It is imperative, and I sat there listening to Jason pour his heart out into this, and I've seen him at work. I know him. I love the man dearly, and it is imperative that you take this seriously. And if you can't take it seriously, let us know. This is a huge church. There's 2,500 people in this congregation. There's 3 services. We will find you something to do that will bring an element of fulfillment to you that maybe you can miss 6 out of 8 Sundays. But not here. That can't happen. And us be successful in doing what we're doing. So think about it long and hard. Think about what you're here for. I wrote an article sometime back. If you want to email me and I'll send it to you. But I looked at a scripture in Acts chapter 9, and I made mention of I made a statement called the stewardship of care and responsibility. A stewardship of care and responsibility. In Acts chapter 9, there is a group of disciples that literally rush Paul the Apostle out of a building down to the ground, and they didn't have elevators. They couldn't create a triangle setup with Glocks. They got him. They used a rope and a basket, and they got him out of harm's way. And then they took him to a safe house. It's all in Scripture. Let me tell you something. That's there for a reason. God the Father, Abba Father, Papa God, put that in Scripture, not just to entertain us. He put it in Scripture to model for us what it takes to take care of those we have a stewardship and responsibility for. I had a security team. I had a guy that never left my side on Sunday mornings. My life had been threatened in the last 14 years 4 times alone. By militia people, by crazy people. Well, anybody that threatens the pastor is crazy, I think. Well, maybe not. But we had security. My wife had a security team. My leadership team had a security team. I didn't make a move on Sunday. I didn't have somebody within arm's length of me. Why? Because it's important. I believe it's important. I believe it's important. So I can't stress, my thought tonight for you is this. there's this stewardship that when you sign on the dotted line, you say, I'm going to be part of this team. You wouldn't want Pastor Justin getting up Sunday morning and saying, folks, I got my schedule just blew up this week. I have no idea what to say today. Let's pass out comic books. Would you stay? Would you get up and leave? Because we expect the best out of him. If Brandon got up to the keyboard and just said to the praise team, everybody, let's just go home. Nobody's helping us sing. Let's just go home. How would you feel? We can't afford to have people on our security team have a weak stand of commitment and loyalty to the security team. It's extremely important to all of us. It is to me, and I'm just a layman right now. I'm just a guy sitting in a pew just like you are. But I love security teams. I love pastors, I love the teams, and I love the congregation. You are important. And it could very well be you that God gets up. You know, I had a mentoring pastor that told me one time that he believed Satan got people up and sent them to church on Sunday morning. After pastoring 42 years, I will concur with that. I honestly believe with him that there are certain people Satan gets up and sends to church on Sunday morning. What if God chose you to interrupt that individual's plan and you weren't where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it? What happens? Who goes down? Who gets hurt? I can't stress enough, and if you want more evidence of church security, I've done a boatload of research on it, trust me, over the last 42 years. I've written a ton of articles on it. I just got a text a few minutes ago from the Church of God Publishing House to do another article on church security, sitting right there. I love this work. It's extremely important to the church. So you're here not because Jason got up today and said, you know, what can I do to interfere with the plans of everybody on my team? What can I do to make life miserable for them? That's not why you're here. You're here because that man back there and his team believe in you. That's why you're here. They believe in you. You're here for a reason. And you're important to us. You're important to the security team. You're important to the pastor's team. You're important to me. I'm a layman sitting on a pew. By God, please be where you're supposed to be. Doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it Sunday morning. And I feel a whole lot better. Because I don't carry on Sunday morning. Well, not all the time. Church security is extremely important. Your involvement is important. So listen to what they're saying. Listen to what Jason is saying. Listen to what Tim is saying and Brian and the team. Listen to what they're saying to you because they're not trying to take up your time. They're trying to make you a better person. We believe in excellence at the Avenue. We believe in giving God our best. And so that's what they're pushing for, is to get the best out of you. Because listen to me for a moment. There's best in all of us yet to see. I've got the best of who I am yet to come out. And most of the time when the best of who I am comes out is when I'm under trial or when I'm under pressure or when I want to get comfortable and all of a sudden there's this nudge to keep me from getting comfortable. That's what they're doing. They're saying to you as a security team, be the best. Because you know what? Sunday morning, 3 times on Sunday morning, people will gather here looking for the best from our pastor, looking for the best from our praise team, and looking for the best from people sitting around them. And we can't afford to give them any less than the best from our security team. And we've got more to give. So is it sacrifice? Absolutely. Let me ask you what Jesus did for you. If you don't believe in sacrifice, rethink that whole process again. Because the Son of God gave his best and gave his life and sacrificed so that we could even be here tonight. Helping this church get where God has appointed it to be. And I'm in love with that track. I don't know about you, but I love this church, and I want to do as best I can to get it where God wants it to be. But we can't do that without you. So folks, let Jason know you love him. Let him know that by how you support the security team and your loyalty to the security team. One more time, let him know how much we appreciate him. That guy right back there.
Hey, everybody! Hey. First of all, just wanted to say from Pastor and myself, and he wanted to be able to come over too, but just how much we love and appreciate you all. First of all, if you're ever assigned to me, I'm just going to say I'm sorry. Because I don't stay in one location very long, and people are like, I know by now. I used to think, why do all these people keep peeking behind corners? But it's because you're trying to keep up with me. So I appreciate you in that. Good luck, and I'll try to be really good when I know that you're supposed to do that. But thank you, because we have never felt safer. We have never felt more cared about holistically. Like, the eyes are everywhere, and people are watching, and they're paying attention, because there's so much going on spiritually in a service and physically, that if we had to think about that side of it, it would totally just detour what God has in that moment for us to do. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. Pastor likes to say, and Chris is here, so I'll say, Pastor likes to say, like, the parking team is his favorite, but this is my favorite team, because y'all are it's okay, but y'all are like the no-nonsense, like, paying attention, being very attentive to the house of God, and what is happening here could not happen if you didn't create such a safe place where people feel comfortable to come, because they know they're going to be taken care of. And the one piece that I wanted to bring to you today is just something that God has laid in my heart. And that is what I feel like is going to start coming. We have not seen this yet, and so I just want to go ahead and tell you up front, like, I feel like it's coming. So, and this is not to, like, freak anybody out or make anybody feel like, oh gosh, what's happening? But anytime a move of God starts happening, the enemy comes in to cause distraction. And how many of you were in the 1 o'clock service Sunday? Okay, good. I will not call anybody out by name because that's not fair, but there was a distraction. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? It's in those moments, you're not just security. Now you have to be spiritually discerning what is really happening. That's why it's not enough to just be on your security mindset, as if that wasn't enough. Now we have to have the Holy Spirit's guidance of what is really happening here. Is this a physical threat or a spiritual plot? And so I say this because multiple times in this past week, the Lord has prompted in my heart, and I keep trying to be like, that's ridiculous. Like, we haven't seen that, and it'll be fine. And then we're away on vacation, and I hear that something happened, and the Lord was like, I need you to just say something so that everybody's aware that demonic spirits are sitting in our house every Sunday. Don't let that freak you out or, like, make you think, well, what are they doing in the church? Well, they're here. And, right, Pastor Tim? Are they here in the house? And the only thing they want to cause is distraction and division, and they want to take the attention off of what God is doing and put the attention on themselves. And I say all this because there are times I know, because the people sit next to me in security, I know that you have to question in your heart, should I move now? Should I go take care of that? The answer is always yes. And here's why I say that. If it causes you to be distracted, then somebody else in that room is distracted. And we welcome everybody to come to an altar. We welcome everybody to bring their brokenness, to bring their stuff, and we don't ever want to stop that. But when it becomes a clear distraction, this is not appropriate time for whatever, move. Don't even question, would Pastor and Melissa be upset? We will never be upset with distraction being eliminated. And how do we do that? So Jason is training you, and Tim is training you, and Brian is training you guys a lot, way more stuff than I ever even understand. So let me just go ahead and say that. But there's a way to do it kindly and forcefully at the same time. And if it's a woman, always have a female with a male. If you're going to approach a female at an altar, or that's approaching one of us, or that's coming to grandstand or heading up those stairs to the pulpit always intercept, but a man and a woman on each side, and sometimes the best thing to do is just take them by the arm and escort them out. There's a couple things that will happen at that point, because the prayer team's the next one I'm going to, because everybody understands that sometimes people are just crazy, right? And then other times they might be demonized. Well, what does that mean? Well, oh my gosh, now we're getting into some deep stuff, right? So ain't nobody wants to see somebody like the Exorcist foaming at the mouth and going crazy, right? That's 9 times out of 10, the devil's not going to show up like that in the altar. He's going to show up by way of distraction to get everybody's attention on him. And that's the way he works. But when we remove a threat from whatever is happening out there, we're going to bring them back with multiple people. Prayer team is going to be there, and security every time. If I'm in the building, I will come back to wherever you are. Just simply because if you're not spirit-filled, like when I say full of the Holy Spirit with the ability to speak in tongues or pray in tongues, and some of that may be new for some of you in this room, and you're like, wow, she said she was going to talk for 10 minutes, and now we're on to like speaking in tongues. But don't be stressed about that. But you cannot encounter, let's say it is a demonized person who has clear issues, and they need to be set free. You need the prayer team in there with you.
Amen.
If it's a crazy individual who just had too many pills that day, or whatever, at my last church, I could walk up to the pulpit and just say what I needed to say. Well, this isn't your last church, so we're gonna give them away, and we're gonna decide which one it is. But every single time that happens from now on, prayer team in the room and security will find their way back to the back. And if I'm in the room, I'll be there with you, if I feel like I need to be. If I don't show up, then I didn't feel like there was an issue spiritually. I felt like it was a security thing. Is everybody with me on that? So I'm not saying this is going to happen on a regular basis. But what I am saying is when God has spoken, hey, I'm going to release signs and wonders and miracles, the devil don't want that happening. And when Jesus walked the earth and signs and wonders and miracles came from him, so did the casting out of demons. So I just want to tell you that there's sometimes a lot more at work than a security issue. Sometimes it's spiritual, and then other times, just as many other times, it's not. It's just, they got a few screws loose, and we're going to help them, right? So I really wanted you all to, and if you don't understand what I just talked about, I'm going to encourage you to seek after what you don't know. The more of God is what it's called, more of God, whatever you have for me, God. If you have trouble, most people who do security are really good discerners. They just have an instinct to know when there's a threat. But the same thing happens if God's given you a discernment to know that in the physical, he can give you that in the spiritual. And so I just want to encourage you, you're so important to where God is taking the Avenue Church. So important. And I don't want you ever to underestimate that, and I don't want you to be afraid of that. We're not afraid. We're not afraid of anything the enemy would throw at us, because the reality of it is, greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. And when we recognize that, we have authority over all things. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I feel impressed in my spirit that it's coming, and I don't want that to catch anybody off guard. The one thing I want to say before I give this back to Tim is this. Why do we want to eliminate distraction and bring them out of the room? Well, that's simple. Because if people's eyes are on what's happening, don't stand up there and have a 5-minute conversation about how they need to come down and move. Just move them. Is that good? Are we good with that? You have our full permission to do that with both kindness and firmness. And I believe that every single person in this room can do both of those things. And don't ever be like, well, I wonder if Pastor would be upset, because I know Pastor, his heart is for the lost. Yes. But because there are lost people in that room getting distracted, we're going to eliminate the distraction. Is everybody good? Does anybody have any questions? I don't want to just kind of drop that on you and okay, great, have a good day. Anybody have any questions? Just want to give you an opportunity to ask.
I'm gonna tag onto that. If you have any questions, speak up. But I'm gonna tag onto this and I'm gonna challenge you guys with something a little bit further that's been on my heart since you spoke the last time. So that was around Christmas, I think. One thing I wanna challenge you guys is to get here 15 minutes, 20 minutes before we ask you to get here, okay? And you can go into the sanctuary, you can go into the closet alone, wherever you need to go to spend some time with God and to get your mind in tune with the Spirit and what's going on in the service. If we'll do that, this is so much easier. And if you didn't need confirmation from what Tim said, I don't
Did you
think
say the same thing?
they haven't talked.
Weren't even here at the same time.
They haven't talked, guys.
There's that.
So
I'm sorry, you
if
just sat there
if
twice.
no, it's good. If you didn't need the confirmation, you got it anyways. But seriously, if you can be here at 15 till 8 and spend 15 minutes along with God, the praise team's worshiping already for you. You got your own, you know? So take that extra 15 minutes and then come back to the huddle at 8 o'clock and really get in tune with what's going on, and this whole process is so much easier.
Absolutely. I want to give another minute, just in case anybody kind of felt like, I don't know if I should ask. Please just, you're good. We would rather you err on the side of safety and caution than to not act at all.
Yes.
So anytime I feel like, hey, the Holy Spirit's speaking to me, but we always have this internal war of, is this really you, Lord? What if I say this or do this and it wasn't you? And God's just like, hey, by now, you need to learn to trust me in this. I would rather step out and make a mistake than not do anything.
Yes.
I would rather step out and find out this lady was just desperate for Jesus and have a prayer team come take care of her than to have missed it completely and something crazy happen. So we back you in that. There will never be a time you make a call erring on the side of safety for the whole body of Christ that we're mad or upset or feel like, gosh, why'd they do that? So we appreciate that part of who you are. So thank you all so much. Just can't thank you enough. I mean, to have you all here and just as attentive as you are and as passionate, this is probably one of the most passionate teams we have. And it's funny because you're all incognito, and that's probably why you're so passionate, because you can be, So, Tim, I'll give it back to you.
So to say all that, Tim coming up, Melissa coming up, do you think that the church is supporting us? A lot. Tell me what other churches got a camera system that we do, or radios that we have, and policies and procedures that we're working on, and just all kinds of other things. Without everything going the way it is, we wouldn't do what we do. We wouldn't be able to do what we do. And I'm going to say a couple of things that Tim said. There's been a couple of times, and Tim said something about if you're not there, that there's an opening there. There's a place for somebody to come in and do something. So I would ask you not to play with your phone. Hey, listen, pull your phone out, check an email, check a text, answer a call. Don't you dare text me. Brian's not even paying attention. He knows that I hate
Text only,
group text.
him. We got one started for his birthday. He liked it.
They did. For all of you
Half the people here were in it.
on that, it was like 150 text messages, all on a group text. Thank you.
Hey, Tim, can I tag on to that? For
Please,
just
please.
the text messages too. If you're on sanctuary duty or anywhere, especially if you're up front and you've got the duty of the platform or the pastoral team, when the church is praying, you probably shouldn't bow your head and close your eyes.
No, we don't do that.
Those are
We do not do that.
Yeah, because that's dangerous.
Matter of fact, I was going to reiterate that.
Yeah, those are dangerous moments there.
Well, I got notes here.
That's professional notes, right?
I got notes here If I can get the paper. And I got notes, when Tim was talking, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's a good thing to add on. So, what Tim said, we have always preached, we the leaders have always preached that when we pray, don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Bow your head, keep your eyes open, like me, look over your glasses. When everybody else has got their eyes closed and bow their head, pop your head back up and look around. Absolutely. He had no idea that we've been talking about this forever. And he picks that up. So that was something that I had. And Melissa said something, and I had a note here before she even got here. If you're on this team, and the safety team, we all need to meet, and we're going to talk about some things to make our safety team a whole lot better. Not that it's not good, and we love and appreciate all of them, but we want to do something to try to help them and encourage them to help us. But we will never get recognized. We're not going to get recognized. So if you're here, and you've heard us talking about this before, if you're here and you're like, oh yeah, I'm on the safety and security team, and oh yeah, I'm going to get recognized, and we're going to get called on the stage, you might want to go find another team, because this is not the team. We'll recognize here. We'll recognize when we're together, and I think Jason, Bobby, Brian, it's only been one time that we've ever been recognized, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was at the Dream Team thing in Pigeon Forge, wasn't it? We don't get recognized. I mean, if you did, then everybody would know who we are. So, talk about the parking. Chris was on our team when we were on the other side, and Chris decided that he needed to go to the dark side.
That's harsh.
Chris and I love each other, and we kid each other all the time, but
Hold my
Chris,
son hostage.
yeah, I do. Now I have a grandson to hold hostage. Chris does an amazing job with his parking team, and Chris carries a radio when he remembers. We're getting there. We're working on things, but Chris is our eyes, his team, and we have a radio back there. Sometimes we don't have it up loud enough, or sometimes I'll do a lot of talking and we'll turn it down. And I know David loves being watching the video, the cameras, and we appreciate that, David. I don't know if anybody else really likes doing that, but I'm not sure that you could beat him up in order to take that from him. He likes it that much. That's his passion, and he does a great job. But there are eyes and ears out there, and we're working on a couple more things that we have to do to make our team better. And Tim T said something about, I think Tim T said something about being here, or no, Jason, one of those two. Anyway, about being here and being on time and all that. If you guys are here in the back at the 1 o'clock service, that's the hardest service for us. You'll see me sitting down and I'm trying to figure out who we're missing, who didn't make it, who didn't, and it's not just us, it's the safety team, and we're working on that. I love them. I have a passion for them. We need to make our teams better. We need to get more people on our team, but they got to be good. They got to be people that want to do it. Not just get on that team and just say, hey, I'm on the safety and security team. Hey, that's pretty cool. We want people who really want to do it. So, you'll see us moving people around, and when you're not here, we struggle. We struggle. And there's a few positions that we'll eliminate in order to make that up, but it's really hard. Since we've been hired a police officer, help me out, Jason, we've missed 2 that they didn't show up.
Recently, yeah.
So we've had to put extra people out front. So if we don't have enough people, who's gonna watch out front? Who's gonna watch Justin and Melissa? Who's gonna watch, pardon me, all the sides of the church and everything? And I got a couple of notes I'm gonna get down. We'll just talk about a few things and then we'll get on. Headsets, if you have, one day I walked in the back and there was a headset sitting underneath of one of the chairs. And it was missing the earpiece. I didn't know whose it was. Still don't know whose it is. I'm the radio guy. I know, I'm a geek. I am. If you've ever been over my house, you know that I'm a radio guy and I'm a geek. I will admit that. I can fix it. If your earpiece breaks, and everybody, safety and security, should have their own earpiece. If any of you on the safety team, then we'll get you one tonight. We'll get you one tonight. If you don't have your own or yours is broken, you need to bring it to me. Don't take it to Brian, don't take it to Bobby, don't take it to Jason, bring it to me. I can fix it. If I can't, I'll give you a new one. If there's something wrong with your radio, just let us know. But I hated that it was someone sitting on the floor and I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out whose it was. Still don't know to this day.
Fix it. Somebody said, did you fix it?
I fixed it. Of course I fixed it.
Did you put it back in inventory?
I did. I cleaned it and put it back. So, if people on our team have prayer requests, and I sort of hear things, occasionally that, hey, prayer request for so-and-so and whatever, let us know. Let us know. Let the 4 of us know. Text the living crap out of Brian. Text him all night.
If you need Tim's number, just ask Mayor Brian.
We're having fun. Prayer request, call us. Let one of us know, any one of us. And truly, if you do not have my number, I'll give it to you. Call me. Text me if you have to. I'd be more than glad to pray with you. I can tell you there's a few people in here that have called me in the past, and I've dropped everything that I've done, and I prayed with them. Not saying that I'm any better than anybody else. But let us know, because if you let one of the 4 of us know, we'll let the rest of the leadership know. And if it has to go above, Jason will take it above. So we've got to do that. We are talking to some people about, let me see, wait, before I go there. Okay, we're talking to some people right now in our church, professionals, about a SWAT team, if you will, but it's like sort of like riots. If we have a protest out front, and we'll have to have a conversation. We're talking to our law enforcement team, Brian Gillum, Joey. We're going to try to get a team together, get a plan, get a strategy, get things so that if something does happen out front, that we have a team ready to go. So we're working on that. Our leadership, we met Sunday with Brian Gillum. You weren't even here, were you? Were you working?
This past Sunday,
Yeah.
I was working.
And we'll get together. So we're working on getting a policy, a team and a policy to combat if somebody decides to protest. This is our property. According to the law, our name is on the lease, and if we don't want them here, we can kick them out, right?
Yes.
Right? So we can tell them to leave. If they don't leave, there's a way that we, as a team, can force them into going in a direction that we want them to go and get them off our property. So we're working on some stuff for that. It's not easy. It's dangerous. But we're not going to let people destroy our church. We're not going to let people come in that door. And it's people like Chris Anderson's team who keeps an eye in the parking lot and calls him and says, hey man, I got some guys with trench coats, or, they got signs. They're coming out of their cars with signs and stuff. Chris can get on his radio and call us, and then we'll do what we need to do. We're working on that. So just go ahead, please.
With that being said, if MPD, if Morristown Police Department is here on the property, anytime we have an issue like that, we can assist them. You want to let MPD do their job because we're paying them to be here
Right.
to do that job, and technically it's their jurisdiction at that time, but we can assist them. Okay? We want them to do their job.
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say. That way, your liability, if anything does occur, falls on the city of Morristown and that officer, not the church or you or me, whoever else is there.
You guys know Joey's a Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy, and we're blessed to have him. So basically,
Well, I'm blessed to have you all. I'm blessed to be.
So whatever, and thank you for clarifying. So whatever we come up with as a team, or as your leadership, whatever policy that we come up with, it will coincide with whatever they say. They're in charge. But we're not going to stand there and let that single officer get beat up out here or be overwhelmed.
Well,
We're going to be
actually,
standing right next to him.
There's a state law that requires you to lend, or to give aid to
Right.
an officer if he or she is in that type of predicament.
So we're working on that.
Some states are trying to do away with that law due to the civil unrest that we have right now.
Thank God our state's
No,
in.
I will say this, right now, until we get something in place and we get that information to you guys, just be on high alert. With everything going on, that's a probable issue, okay? So if you see something that's fishy, err on the side of caution, radio it out, and we'll have our leaders, whoever we can pull out. We don't want everybody to leave their position, okay? It could be a distraction. It could be something out there to cause something else in here, okay? So our main guy that's in the sanctuary has to stay in the position. Until we get a formation and a plan in place, radio it out, and whoever can come that's not assigned to a dedicated position can come and help, okay? But that's the plan right now, today. If it happens Sunday, that's the way we need to handle it, until we get a better process in place. And, we've got the medic team the medical positions that would come and assist if there's injuries or whatever the situation may be. But all that needs to be planned out so that everyone is safe and able to do their job.
Does everybody understand that? If you don't have the pepper spray class that we had, can you teach that? Pepper spray?
I don't have certification
Okay.
to teach that.
We're gonna, if you don't already have it, and there's a few of us who do, if you don't have it, we want to give it to you. We want you to take it. We'll get Gillum to do it. He said he'll do it, and it doesn't take much. No, you don't have to get sprayed. We did.
I will add to that real quick. We have around 16 or 17 cans of pepper spray back there, and they're out now for those of you that has been trained, okay? So if you have been trained, I encourage you to take pepper spray with you and put it on your belt for Sunday, okay? And have it available. If you haven't been trained, then you can't legally do it and use it.
And I'm gonna reiterate something.
I think that depends on the percentage of
The pepper in it.
what's in the, yeah. I can't say the capsium or whatever it is.
Right.
Like what you can buy at,
We bought this off Amazon, so.
Yeah.
And it's the gel, it's not the spray.
what you can buy at like a pawn shop or something like that. A lot of ladies carry that on their
Sure.
keychains.
Sure.
You can use that because you're covered that way.
That's something we need to look into and see what percentage we have and what we can carry if you're not trained. But, thank you.
I'm gonna reiterate something, and then I'm gonna hand it over. Your weapons. If you carry a weapon, we want you to have a holster that is a retention holster. We're not asking you to have a level 3 holster, the highest level holster. We're not asking you to have a level 3, which is what a police officer carries. But what we don't want is somebody putting their radio on, tucking their shirt in, or untucking their shirt, or the gun falling on the floor in the back. It's happened. Not saying who it is, doesn't really matter. We're learning by our mistakes. If that person is even in the room, I don't even know. We don't pull our weapons out here and show somebody. We are not doing that. At no time are you allowed to pull your weapon out and show somebody, hey man, look at my gun, I just bought this. No, we don't do that. It stays in the holster. Don't ever pull it out unless you absolutely have to. I can't be strict enough about that.
Those who do have a level 1, 2, 3 holster, we need to get with each other and we need to know how to remove that gun from that holster in case something were to happen to me or to someone else. Because if you can't get my weapon, you may need my weapon, and if you can't remove it from the holster, it's not going to do anybody any good. Or if you need to get it out to make it safe to
If
put it
something
somewhere
happens.
else.
Here's the thing about holsters, guys. If you use one of those little pocket leather holsters or fabric holsters and there's no retention, and say somebody comes in rioting or protesting and you have to get physical with them and you hit the ground for some reason, there's a pretty good chance that gun's going to come out. Okay? Now you've just added a major issue to the fight. Okay? So by all means, please invest $50, $75, whatever it takes to get a good holster that will have retention adjustment or a level 3 where you have to actually push the trigger to release that gun. Okay?
I work for Knox County Schools as a resource officer for them. This whole week we've been doing in-service. And today we did defensive tactics. Joey knows what defensive tactics is. It's basically you're wrestling with somebody and they're trying to get your weapon off. And that was something that was brought up today, that if you go to the ground or somebody is able to get your gun, you're dead. You're dead. The fight is on. Let me tell you, you try to get mine, the fight is on. I will die before I give it up. I will die. I will not run out of energy. I don't care how much. You're going to have to kill me. I'm not giving it up.
And the other, I'm sorry to keep saying stuff, but you need to train on retention of your gun. I mean, know to put where it is, know where to put your hand. I was in a car crash where I had a concussion, I got hurt pretty bad, and my supervisor kept trying to take my gun from my holster, and I wouldn't let him. But that was just because of training, though.
Right.
And every time I could feel him tugging, I'd put my hand on it, and I wouldn't let him have it. So until I finally, until I realized, hey, what's going on now, and I started coming back to my senses. I said, he told me who he was, and he said, I'm gonna get your gun. I'm like, okay. But if you train that way, and I know you hear it all the time, especially if you've been involved in any kind of athletics, your coach always says, practice, practice, practice. You just remember it. It becomes part of your memory. So there's just different things that you can do it, and we get told this all the time, just do it at home. And I know this sounds silly, but stand in front of the mirror. And
That's what they told us today.
And do it. I know it sounds silly, but it's really not, and it will help you so much. And, drawing your gun, unload it while you're at the house, and practice drawing it so you don't shoot the mirror. You know what I mean? So, and just practice drawing it. It's just, and do the slow trigger pulls, after you've unloaded it.
Don't leave the same years go with it.
So,
Or just get one of these laser guns.
Yeah, get a laser gun.
In the back. And I'll finish up with, all right, so Jason is basically the director of safety and security. He makes all this happen. I'm in charge of policies and procedures and plans. Bobby is in charge of everything that happens inside that sanctuary. So if you don't show up, Bobby's got to figure out who he's going to move and who he is going to put in your place. Brian is in charge of scheduling. And I know how much time he puts into scheduling. I know. He puts hours a day in scheduling. When you're scheduled, if you can't be there, or let's say that you do, now just help me out here, Brian. So let's say that you put me on the schedule and I say that I can, but I can't later. They can go back in or send you an email or a text. Help me out. Come up here, please.
You can decline in the system,
Come here.
to block out a date, or just text me, which I think I've talked to everybody in this room this week, it seems like. You can text me, unlike Jim, I'm cool with it. I just want to thank you guys for bearing with everything as we kind of went through that process. People that are in this room do a really good job of declining and blocking out dates and everything. And if you don't know how to block out a date, just let me know. That keeps us from putting you in a place where it's going to cause a conflict later. Like Tim said, one of the issues we have, and Bobby has to move several people around for some spots if one person can't be there. We try to balance out skill sets across the floor. So depending on where you're at, it could cause several people to have to move, and that's a little bit of chaos that we don't want. So just keep letting us know ahead of time as much as you can. We've got some positions we're scheduled out months ahead right now. We have some gaps we fill up to Wednesday the week of, depending on our needs. We like to have that locked in about 80 to 90%, 2 weeks ahead of time. So if you know you're not going to be here, you think you might not, just let me know. Like I said, I'm good with text, and I've talked to half of you guys probably this week already. So you can text me. Sometimes if it's on a Sunday, it'll take me hours to get back, as Johnny found out last week. But as far as Sundays go, it's not a good day to talk about it because we're so busy. We do have the next survey will be coming out.
Yeah, still get your text, I was gonna say, still text us, we get your text.
Yeah, we get it. We may not respond until the 1 o'clock or after, but the new survey will be coming out hopefully the next 2 weeks. We're sort of waiting right now to figure out what's going to happen with some other some other angles before we send it out. So, that's kind of all I've got. Just thank you guys for being diligent. And,
Hey, let me add something. These surveys, not everybody is filling them out, right, Brian?
everyone in, I believe this room has, I've been looking across, this is our good group,
Okay.
it looks like.
These surveys are really important because it helps us to know your training and what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what service you want to serve, and different things. So please, anytime you get them, please fill them out. It only takes a couple minutes.
We do them every quarter, because life changes and school schedules and stuff, so. The other thing is, we need a lot of help at one right now, and so even if you're not scheduled, everybody's welcome to come serve, because we could use everybody at every service, as much as we can get. So, anyway, thank y'all. That's all I got, Tim.
Just to add to that, we encourage everybody to serve a service or be in a service. Serve a service and then be in a service. So if you're serving all day long, make sure at least one of those services you're serving in a sanctuary, okay? We encourage you to pick up a radio, but if that distracts you from being in a service, it's important that you be in a service and attend to a service. And I'm preaching to myself right now because I'm all the time getting pulled in 3,000 directions, okay? But it's very important that you do that, okay? So feel free. I'll say this right here. Feel free. If it's too much, say, no, I need to be in the service. And I'm okay with that. We'll figure it out, okay? We'll figure it out. So we appreciate you guys, appreciate the medical physicians being here tonight. Was there anything else that we need to discuss? Bobby, do you have anything you want to add or talk about? I think that's everything.
Are we signing these tonight?
Are we signing these?
Yes, please,
Yes.
please fill out your form, pick the position, whether you want to be a SecOp 1 or a SecOp 2. If you have no intentions of carrying a gun in the building, you SecOp 1. Come to the trainings as you see fit. I encourage you to come to all of them because they help you in every aspect of your life.
Did we mention the basic handgun course
The basic handgun course
coming out?
will be coming up in a couple of weeks. It is a 10-hour course, okay? That would cost you $500, the basic handgun course.
Part of SecOp 2, you have to complete handgun, basic handgun training with Winchester.
So if you hired him to do that privately, it would cost you $500, yes.
So CCW doesn't count as part of that?
No,
It's a good start.
no, it's something you need to have, but it doesn't qualify you,
Even armed guard doesn't qualify you to carry
yeah.
here.
But what I'm saying, that's a $500 value, guys. You know, take advantage of it. You're getting it for hardly nothing. Yeah,
What does that cover? That 10-hour class, what does it cover? Because I'm sure there's some who have thoughts about their CCW or whatever, they work for a security
So,
company,
yeah.
you know, down at the grocery store or whatever. What does that cover so you can let them know?
So basic handgun course is, there's about 5 hours of class session, and it goes over the basic principles of a gun. I know it seems monotonous to a lot of you, but it's important for some of us that maybe didn't know some things, and maybe you'll learn something, okay? The second portion of it is on the range. It's 5 hours of getting to know your gun, getting tuned in with your gun. The gun is accurate, okay? If you miss a target, it's not the gun's fault, 90%, 99% of the time, okay? You gotta tune your body, you gotta tune yourself to that firearm, okay? And that's what that class does. You'll be shooting from multiple positions. You'll be shooting from different locations. Come here, Brian. Just give you an example. If Brian's coming at me with a knife, it doesn't do me any good to put the gun right here because he can take it from me, okay? So you'll learn how to draw your weapon, block that, and shoot him from the hip, I'm taking his hips out. Okay?
Stops the bullet.
Who ever thought of that with the CCW?
It's a tactical, type class.
That's one option. You don't wanna put the gun out here where they can get it. You don't have to aim at that point. If he's here, I can draw. The gun's gonna, where's the blue gun at? It's gonna go,
He points the fake gun down.
it's gonna go right from right here. I can be right here. Where's it gonna go? It's gonna go right at his hips. You shoot him in the hips, he's going to the ground.
Stops the bullet in the crowd.
I can still deflect, I can push him away, I can do whatever. That's one small example of that class.
And you won't shoot anybody behind you.
Yeah, and the bullet's going through and to the floor, hopefully unless it ricochets off a bomb.
That's the first 5 hours is mostly safety,
Yeah,
out
so,
of that course.
so
Is that gonna be on Saturday?
it'll either be on a Saturday or a Sunday evening.
It's a little bit of mixed of both. There's gonna have 2 opportunities to get it done before January.
Yeah.
First one will be on, I think it's Sunday, isn't it?
You know, in the carry permit class, they don't teach you to keep your finger off the trigger and your finger outside the trigger well.
Guys,
In this class, we talk about that. We talk about how to hold that gun so that it's in a safe direction.
I know it seems like, you may seem like you know a lot about guns. Maybe you grew up around guns. Maybe you had the hunter safety course. Maybe you hunted your whole life. Maybe whatever. I was one of those country boys that done that. Shot from, Corbin shot since he was 3 years old. Okay? I don't mean this rude, but I could probably put Corbin up against over half of you guys and he'll outshoot you in this room. I almost guarantee it.
I do too.
And it's because he's been going to these trainings that we've been doing.
Yep.
Okay? It's because he's been trained in the last 9 months, a lot of things of how to handle a weapon. He goes to the range, he ain't like this with his gun. He ain't like this with his gun. His gun's here, his gun's here. Okay? I can talk to Brian, I can walk up to Brian, I can bump into Brian. The gun's safe, it's loaded, his finger's off the trigger. How many of us walks around like that at the range if you had CCW? Probably nobody. I didn't do that as a kid. I didn't do that as a young man. But that's the things you'll learn is how to handle a gun safely and how to protect you and the people around you with the weapon.
It's all part of a system too, just like how you have your hands, matches or defensive tackles. It's all gonna go together.
Yeah, in these classes that we'll be doing, you'll be doing defensive tactics and drills. Some of those drills are, so in a fighting stance, come here, Brian. So I'm here, okay? This is our fighting stance. Your shoulders are up, you're covering your neck, okay? You take an AR, you can lay it right there. You got the AR platform right there. Okay? Handgun, right there. Everything's in your workspace. Everything, workspace, shoulders to waist. Everything stays in that workspace. You change in a magazine, you'll learn how to change a magazine. Bring the gun to your workspace. Take the mag out, put the mag in. Rack the gun, everything stays in your workspace. You're looking forward. You're looking at your target the whole time. Who does that with CCW? There's a lot of tactics, a lot of things that you'll learn, and it will just help you. If you're gonna carry a weapon, regardless whether it's here, come take these classes. I'm telling you, it's worth its weight in gold.
Even the National Guard.
You're not always shooting from your feet either.
No,
Yeah.
you're not.
To graduate that class, you'll be shooting from 3 position right there into a dime.
Yeah, there's a triangle target that's about that size, okay? And what he's saying by shooting from 3 position is right here. If I'm square to my target, I'm gonna hit Brian from right here. I don't even have to aim. I don't even have to look at him. If I'm square at him, I'm pretty well gonna hit him. If I'm square up David right here,
Well, you don't technically have to be square with me to hit me, but.
And Joey, what you're talking about, there's other levels beyond this basic. It'll go, intermediate and
There's
advanced.
actually 4 levels. Basic is a 10 hour.
It gets what you're
So
talking about.
the other ones go into 20 and 30 and 40 hours classes.
The
And
basic
again,
one's off your feet though.
If you've ever been interested in learning true marksmanship qualities, and if you've ever looked at the cost of those classes, I'm telling you guys, you can't beat it. We're getting it to you for $10, $10 or $15 for a love offering. If everybody in here comes and gives a guy $10, he's gonna get $350. That's not even one person's cost of that class, okay? Yeah.
Just, if you ever have to draw on somebody, this training is gonna be good for you, because even if you haven't ran, or you haven't been in a fight, you haven't had to wrestle, if you have to draw on somebody, all that comes into play.
Yeah.
Because,
It's muscle memory, guys. It's muscle
and
memory.
just your heart rate and everything will increase when you have to draw on somebody.
And you'll get taught all that. You'll get taught at 125 beats a minute, how you're going to respond to that. At 150 beats per minute, how you're going to respond to that. At 200 beats per minute, when it's really rough, you'll find out how you're going to respond to that. And some of this training will go into stress inoculation training, to where this is down the road, but hopefully you guys stick with it and we'll get there. But stress inoculation training is, maybe Brian's running at me with a knife. One reason I bought this, I can practice this safely as he's coming at me, and we can do stress inoculation training, okay? I encourage you to get airsoft guns in your in your type of gun that will fit your holster, if you can. Most major guns have that. And what that will do, we'll do scenario drills in here in the sanctuary. Okay? We have an active shooter scenario. Somebody comes in with a gun, everybody that's got airsoft, we're not using our real guns, everybody's got airsoft, we can respond. Okay? And we can train in scenarios and situations to be better prepared in case of something does happen. So I encourage you to look out there. I picked up a Glock 19. This is a Glock frame. It fits in my Glock holster. I can train at home. I've got the airsoft and the same thing. I can train at home. I live in the city limits. I can't fire a weapon, but I can go out in the yard and I can shoot airsoft plastic BBs in the yard and train. So I encourage you to look into that. I got this on Amazon. And you saw everybody playing with it. It's actually pretty accurate.
How much was it?
I think they're right at $150 with 2 targets.
Chad, you got an airsoft last week, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the Cyclone Beretta I carried.
Awesome.
Or you can go buy a High Point if you want. And then you can
Tim?
throw it at them. Throw it at them.
Tim's the only one that carries high points.
Yeah.
But seriously though, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out.
We're giving these back to you, Jason?
Yes, I need the papers back.
But we're
If you,
keeping this.
So how many,
Yeah.
how many are doing the level 2 though?
Explain that.
That's almost, that's 3/4. It's awesome. We're hoping for about 30 to 40, so.
so the paper that has the signature line on the back of it, I need back in your folder, okay? If there was other papers in your folder, I need those back. The one that has the A on the front of it, you can keep. It's a description of what you're signing, okay? Any